Hey guys, Sugar Key. I'm back on another video, and today we're talking about Monday Night Raw. And for Monday Night Raw, CM Punk opened up the show, which, you know, whenever they have CM Punk on the show, he basically opens up the show more than likely. He came out just saying, you know what, I'm gonna take accountability. I'm gonna take a little bit of accountability and say that, you know, recently I have been thinking about Seth Rollins and what he's been saying. So in that, he's talking about Seth Rollins, and he did a perfect impression of Seth Rollins. I would like to say that. I would like to add that to CM Punk's resume is impressions, because perfect. He got to walk down every day, and there ain't no hate to Seth, because, you know what I'm saying, Seth, I got a respect for Seth, but it was funny. And honestly, I'm gonna keep it real. The way that CM Punk did not clown him for saying that he got ghosted, it's a manly thing to do. Because if it was me, I would have been like, bro, you mad that I ghosted you? It's crazy. You a grown man. That's what I would have said. But in waiting for Seth to come out, as Seth usually does, this time Seth comes from the crowd, which kind of reminiscent to the days of the Shield. But also, I have noticed that Seth Rollins usually does come from the crowd a little bit more now. And honestly, maybe it's his safe space, because it's what he was doing when he first debuted. And they went back and forth. Seth brought up the fact that he has a main event at WrestleMania, and CM Punk will never have that. And that CM Punk did not take that lightly. They came up fighting in the crowds, which that let me know the plans for Netflix is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. And when it comes to all these matches that are getting booked for Netflix on Raw on Netflix, it's really heating up. Because not only was CM Punk and Seth Rollins match booked, but we also have the match between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. And then we also have the match between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. That right there, that's going to be a lot. That is going to be a lot. And for me, I'm not mad at a book show at all. I'm not mad at a book show. I just hope that the book show does good. You know, I want these things. I don't want matches to occur and they not hit, because I feel as though these matches have to hit. But when it comes to Liv and Rhea, that's the match that I need to put a bow on it all. I'm being honest. When Liv Morgan came out for her promo, they talking about most dominant women's champion. I love her believing in herself. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. But I'm gonna need Rhea to wake her up to the cruel reality that is life and take that belt. I need her to take that belt. So we gotta be free of this version of their rivalry. I needed to have something else going on with it, because it's getting the same and it's getting stale. Now, Seth and Drew McIntyre had a moment after Drew had his moment with CM Punk in the beginning of the night, and Drew McIntyre is kind of trying to have Seth look at things his side, talking about Roman, talking about the bloodline. But Seth says, and those guys are my friends. It don't matter if I feel the same way but with Roman. I'm not going to team up with you. I honestly think that those two together would have been interesting to say the least. And I don't know if that's ever the way they're going to try to go, especially with Seth standing 10 toes on the fact that he's friends with Sammy and Jay, and they've been through a lot. But that's not the same for Drew and him. But it will be interesting if that's ever the route they decide to take, because they are haters of the year. They could be haters. They could be real big haters. They will be the group of haters. Like, I don't mind seeing it. They gonna get dropped, but hey, I don't mind seeing it. They had a match between Kaiser and Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship, and that was a match those two went back and forth, and I like the chemistry they have together. I like the fact that Kaiser kind of has the same style as Gunther, but his own style at the same time. Because both Kaiser and Gunther, they manipulate the limbs. They look for that weak spot and they target it throughout the whole match, because that's probably what's going to help them win. And if it was anybody else, Louis Kaiser would have won, and I wouldn't have mind seeing him with the IC Championship at all. But that night, Braun Breaker was a better man. I am going to say this, and of course I'm upset at these two 100%, but I feel like they're being extra about this Big E situation with the New Day. Now let me cook. When has there ever been people getting kicked out of the locker room because they betrayed their teammate? I don't see DIY getting kicked out of the locker room. I don't see there being a story around that. I don't see a story around other betrayals being kicked out of the locker room. So it's very interesting that they have both Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston kicked out of the locker room to the point where Rey Mysterio is telling them they're not welcome and the guys don't feel comfortable. Like, that's very interesting. Like, is Karrion Kross in your locker room? Is Karrion Kross in your locker room? I need to know who is in your locker room. Do y'all have Drew McIntyre in your locker room? Then that's crazy. If Drew McIntyre is back there with y'all chilling and y'all don't want Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods in there, that's wild to me. That is 100% wild to me. Like, it's not that deep. It is not that deep. I'm sorry. Big E has not been there in that locker room like Xavier and Kofi. Like, he been getting better. He been at home doing business. Why can't these two men get in the locker room? They being real petty. Like, I feel like they got paid or something. Cause there's no way. There's no way. Out of all the betrayals, I ain't never seen Seth out of that locker room after. Actually, they probably would have been fine with the Shield breaking up. The way they were causing havoc, they probably were fine with the Shield breaking up. They probably had a celebration of the Shield breaking up. But to see this treatment of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods is very interesting, because it's not something that I expected to happen at all. It's gonna be an interesting one, and I hope they kind of write it out very well. And in the night, Butch and R-Truth are still going at it. But Alpha Academy had a little meetup with American Made, and Chad Gable basically is picking off all three of them. He can't pick up Maxine by himself, but he said his target is Toys Out. And honestly, why are we here again? I thought American Made won already. Why are we back again at this? I'm thinking that Chad Gable just want to exterminate the group, but they used to losing, okay? They're used to losing. It don't matter if y'all keep beating them, they're used to losing. Unless you injure them, they're gonna still come back. They're used to losing. Who cares? Please, like, where Chad Gable just need to go on SmackDown. At this point, Chad Gable needs to go on SmackDown, wait a little bit until it's time for his storylines to get built up on Raw or something, because he's going in circles, and it kind of doesn't make sense to me. Now, in the backstage, Sami Zayn attacked Drew McIntyre, and honestly, I think that's crazy. Sami, why are you trying to get Drew after you getting whooped? You got whooped on Saturday. It's okay. Take the L and leave. Take the L, regroup, and leave. But you know what? It's Sami Zayn. He got a fighter's heart, fighting spirit. I wonder, it might not go good for him in the rematch, but hey, it is what it is. The Miz is being held hostage by this Final Testament, 100%. He has a match between Dexter Lumis next week, and I want Miz to take the dub, but I have no idea, because I feel like Final Testament is low-key plotting on him, but it's more of him getting a taste of his own medicine, because that's basically what he did. He was just using them and thought he was going to be able to skate by, but no, it's Karrion Kross, and as I'm figuring out, Karrion Kross don't play that. You know, he's the one who says when the game is over, and the game isn't over. I'm gonna even miss to get that win though, because I'm tired. Now for the qualifying match for the women's tournament for the Intercontinental Championship, Zoe Stark, Kaden Carter, and Raquel Rodriguez. Honestly, Kaden Carter was the MVP of that match, and I think I see something in her. I see something in her, and I really hope that they put some effort into Kaden Carter and Kiana Chance. But like, Kaden Carter, like, I really see some for, like, she can make a single name for herself. Like, if they kind of rebrand from the Party Girls into something else and have her do more singles matches, I see it. A perfect, perfect mid Carter. I don't know if I see the world champion in her yet, but I'm sure with the right time, with the right practice, with the right resources, she could be. But I see something really, I see something really in her. Like, she could be the IC championship champion later down the line. She was handling that whole match well, doing stuff that was innovative throughout the whole match, and not even showing that she would, like, you wouldn't even be able to tell that she was a tag team only and not used to the singles matches. In that match, Raquel, she would overpower them for a little bit, but they would also come with some innovative moves. And to be honest, what kind of surprised me, but it makes sense, was Zoe Stark won. She won the match. But it makes sense because PFC has been walking around as if they are the ones. They walking around like they actually be moving things, but they don't. They'll be losing matches, and they only jump people. They're not really going one-on-one trying to put them on lock. So that was interesting. And this right there might help them get more of a street cred for real. And what they did to Kairi Sane, out of pocket. It was out of pocket because I wanted to see Kairi. I wanted to see Kairi bad. And they attacked her, and her hand crushed. Like, who does that? Who really does that? That's weird. But Zoe Stark, I don't really see her making it through. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see her making it through. I just think Raquel and Kiana would have been more of in a running of it. So Zoe Stark is in there. That's, y'all know what I mean by that. Now for the main event match, you have Finn Balor, JD McDonough versus the War Raiders. And earlier in the night, you see the ripples between the Judgment Day, the betrayal, whatever is coming. Like, I don't know if Finn Balor gonna get his old school bag, but he might, by the way it's looking. He might need to go to some old tricks because the new one's not working at all. The new ones are failing him terribly. Two L's in a span of 48 hours is crazy. It's crazy. But Finn Balor and JD McDonough, they did what they could. They did what they could, but those poor fools. Those poor fools thought that the old tricks was gonna work against them. Like, when I saw the promotion video that the War Raiders did, I was like, okay, they are beating the brakes out of the Judgment Day. But it is not solely from the War Raiders' skill, but a little help from Damian Priest, which is like, Finn Balor, how do you think that he was never going to go after you? After the times you costed him a chance at the championship that he'd been wanting back, and then didn't want to lose, how did you think that he was never going to come back and that was going to bite you in the behind? Finn Balor needs to think more, because it seems like when you follow Finn, you don't win. That's what it's looking like. But for Netflix Raw, I think that's another match we're gonna see. If not that match, we're gonna see that sooner rather than later. Damian Priest probably gonna beat the brakes out of him unless Finn Balor decides to evolve into something different than how he has been. But Raw was pretty solid. I really think it was setting up for the Netflix episode, which that right there, PLE level. I am ready. I am seated. I cannot wait to see what happens when it comes to that bloodline match between Roman and Solo. I'm very upset because it's seeming like there's a possibility that Drew McIntyre is going to cost the match. for one of them. And I don't need it to be Solo because I keep, I'm gonna be honest, this whole thing of Roman trying to get this Ulafala back, it makes sense and I like it, but I also want to see Roman move on from that. Like, he's been having, like, I want him to move on from that, you know, but I think there's like a timeline to where they need to do, so I understand it and I respect it. It's still a good story. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about the matches that have been set in stone for Raw on Netflix. Are y'all excited? How did y'all feel about last night's episode? But thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.